Welcome back to Showcase Pittsburgh. I'm John Klein. With me now, Dr. Ann Stoneham from University Veterinary Specialists down in McMurray. Welcome back to the show, Doc.
Thank you so much.
Give us just a little history because it's a fairly new business in the South Hills of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, our practice opened up, it's a family-owned practice, and it opened up about July of 2016. It's a 24-hour practice, and we have specialists, and we have emergency 24/7.
Is this something where until you have a pet and you have an issue at midnight and you realize your vet isn't available, we went through this numerous times.
Yeah. What
do you do? And now all of a sudden with a 24, it's like an emergency room for animals.
Exactly, and that's precisely what it is. So we're there whenever you need us. It can be during the day when your veterinarian doesn't have any room in their appointment schedule, or in the middle of the night when they're just not there. And then we're also available for veterinarians will actually refer patients in when a patient has maybe a very critical illness or a problem that your veterinarian doesn't have the specialty to deal with, and they'll refer them to us.
My first thought would be cats and dogs, but I'm guessing it's a lot more than cats and dogs.
We do take care of more than cats and dogs. Cats and dogs are pretty much what we primarily take care of, but we have a few different veterinarians in our practice who also take care of exotic specialists like lizards and birds and sugar gliders and ferrets and turtles, and so
sugar glider.
The list goes
what's
on.
A sugar glider?
It's a little marsupial, like in the kangaroo family, but very, very tiny.
Are there a lot of them in Pittsburgh? Never even heard the term.
That I don't know. We'll have to find out if anybody calls in and says, "Hey,
I have one.
I have one."
I have one. I'm just thinking if a snake came in, it's like I'm out. I'm out. As we're in the middle of the holidays right now, and holidays are very stressful for a lot of animals. Why, if somebody doesn't realize, why is that the case?
Well, having a lot of family suddenly come into your home when you're a pet is completely something they don't understand. Why is my house being invaded? And especially by small, very rapidly running human beings.
Okay.
And so it's a good idea to always make sure your pet has a way, especially cats, have a way to get away from the family and away from all the strangers in their household and all the noise, and so have a room that they can go to and be safe.
Is there a way to, and we've never had cats, do they attack Christmas trees? You always see on Facebook people claiming their cats are destroying their trees.
They can. Cats are very, very playful by nature, and so they see things that are shiny and move back and forth on the tree, and they see things that look like strings hanging from the tree, and they like to attack that and
is
try
there
to
a way
take it to their lair.
To safeguard against some of that, or you just have to have some common sense?
Well, you do have to have some common sense, and I think a lot of it is, you don't hang very breakable things down at the bottom of the tree. Don't have tinsel on your tree if you have a cat, because cats do like to eat that sort of thing, and it will actually cause major problems for them, and sometimes they need surgery if that gets stuck in their intestines.
Oh, wow. And I remember dogs eating tinsel years ago.
Yeah.
And you see so what are some of the other hazards that we need to look out for? Food and people food and some other issues around the holidays?
Food's definitely one of the big ones around the holidays. You have a lot of sugary foods, you have a lot of fatty foods around, and people love to spoil their pets and make sure they have a good time too. And sometimes that means that they're giving their pets a lot of real high-fat food, which is not good for them. They're just not used to it. And so we should avoid that at all costs, and don't give them a lot of sugary treats. They can certainly have little treats that you buy at the pet store for them specifically, but try to stay away from giving them human food, and try to stay away from giving them food that's toxic to animals. I mean, a lot of people know more and more now but grapes and raisins are toxic to dogs, and craisins as well.
Why is that? Because they can't chew them and they would lodge, or it's something in their intestines?
No, actually there's a toxin in some grapes. Okay. We don't know which ones will carry it. But there's a toxin that can actually cause complete kidney failure.
Oh, wow.
In dogs. It can be very, very serious, so we do want to avoid that as much as possible.
Are there any, well, you hit on something. Are there other foods that we would commonly have around the house that maybe a dog would get into that we should be aware?
Sure.
In addition to grapes and raisins?
Yeah, chocolate has got to be a big one. That can cause seizures. Macadamia nuts, if you're getting something really special around the holidays. Onions, garlic. These can cause problem for dogs and cats.
Should we just basically not give animals people food?
That's the safest way to go about it.
And what about when you come home and if you have leftovers from a steakhouse or something and you take the dog bone home? Is that good to do, or is that you're maybe doing more damage to the inside of the dog than it's worth?
It can be very tempting to give dogs the bones from your meal, but I would definitely avoid it. That's another one that you don't want to do, because the dogs, there are some dogs that will chew them up and eat so much of the bone that it causes a blockage on its way through.
Okay.
In fact, we just treated one for that, and it took several days before we were able to finally get things cleared out.
My son lives in Nashville, and they just came home for Thanksgiving with their dog, Quigley. And the dog is a nightmare in the car because it gets car sick.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for anybody who's going to be traveling with a pet? Is there anything that you can give them ahead of time, anything we can do or not do to avoid car sickness with our pets?
There are certain drugs that we can give to help avoid car sickness, and that's something you should definitely talk to your veterinarian about plan ahead before you start traveling. There's a medication, a very, very good one called Serenia, which prevents vomiting in a lot of different circumstances. One of them is motion sickness, so car sickness would fall under that. So that's one that I would definitely recommend talking to your vet ahead of time.
What about giving a pet over the holidays? Is that a good thing to do? I've always heard no, but it seems like you see the Hallmark Channel and all of the the movies,
sweet.
And it's very sweet to have a puppy on Christmas morning,
Yeah.
but probably not the best choice.
That's a tough one. I think that if that is something you're going to do, it has to be something that is you have to talk to the family that's getting that pet about it first and make sure this is something they want, first of all, that they have room for in their lives, but it should never be a surprise. I think a surprise is a bad idea, and also make sure this pet's going to fit into their lifestyle. You don't want a border collie who's so high energy for a family that doesn't even go outside and plays video games, for the primary part of their day.
And I would assume getting a pet shouldn't be a surprise for any family any time of year.
Yeah.
Where, look what I brought home today. Yeah. I think shouldn't that be something that's discussed?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What about other animals at university veterinary specialists down in McMurray? Are you going out to farms to go out and do some things for other animals, or is everything in-house?
We do have a section of our hospital does take care of horses.
Okay.
And so one of the specialists in our hospital is a equine or horse dentist, and so she does go out to the farms.
They're not bringing the horses to you.
They are sometimes.
Oh wow.
They are sometimes. Yeah.
Are there other animals that you would think? I find it hard to believe that somebody would have something like that in the greater Pittsburgh area that you've encountered.
Gosh. I'm not the person that generally takes care of the exotics, so I don't have a lot of those. Dr. Wells, who was with me a few weeks ago, would be a good one to ask that of, but I haven't seen anybody that I'm surprised about.
Let's review. Holidays, we're right smack dab in the middle of the holidays right now. New Year's coming up over the weekend. Going to be stressful for pets. What should we do? What common sense things should we do?
Okay. Again, plan ahead. If your animal is noise sensitive, if there's going to be a lot of fireworks around you and your animal is noise sensitive, there are certain steps you can take. One is you put them in a room and have music playing on a radio, Pandora, whatever. Also, if they're horribly noise sensitive, there are medications that you can give, and you can talk to your veterinarian about that. That will help just not just make them sedate, but take the edge off so they don't get so anxious and upset.
Plan ahead. With your pets. They're a family member. One of my favorite memories were dogs watching trains go around under the Christmas tree, and I'm thinking they're going to attack, but they never did. So happy holidays. If you'd like to know more about University Veterinary Specialists, you can call them 724-717-CARE or log on to ubscares.com. That does it for today's show. We are out of time. Join us again for the next Showcase Pittsburgh here on KDKA TV.